Welcome. You are listening to the Be a Better Being podcast hosted by Michelle Zellner and Sasha Berscheid. Michelle and Sasha are here to give you information and inspiration to help you live your healthiest, happiest lives. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoy the show.
Greetings. Thank you for tuning in to the Be a Better Being podcast. I'm Michelle Zellner, your host, joined today by my beautiful side host, Sasha. How are you, darling?
Hi, everyone. Michelle, before we jumped on this, someone said, ready spaghetti. That's how I'm doing. I'm ready spaghetti.
I love that. I don't think I've heard that in about 48 years, and it's beautiful. I am really excited for our guest today, as I know you are as well. So September is National Self-Care Awareness Month, which is great because that's what we talk about all the time. And if you came to the 2023 virtual vision board workshop, you are going to recognize this beautiful face and voice because Raeven Kirk has joined us today to share her story. And I think by the end of it, you are going to agree with me that what she has done in her life really embodies the highest form of self-care. So Raeven, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be here.
Well, we are super excited. Sasha, I'm going to let you kind of give a little intro of why Raeven is even part of my universe.
Yeah, absolutely. So Raeven is from Omaha, and we both have a lot of similar groups that we run with, but there was just an immediate attraction from me to Raeven, and the reason was her honesty. She is incredibly honest. She's authentic. And I met her through social media, through Facebook. And then I would see her post. Her posts are really funny, like on the Omaha Food Lovers. She's always like, I need that now, or like whatever. And moved over to Lit. And then one of the things that I value is that she's always willing to educate people on things that we might not realize we're missing a gap. I remember the first time that Raeven really stood out to me was when someone was talking about they didn't feel privileged that they owned a house in South Omaha. For those of you who are not from Omaha, Omaha is still pretty segregated. And so like there's North Omaha and there's South Omaha. And then there's like the rest of Omaha. And this one, this person was saying that they didn't feel an entitlement or any type of way, and that they were a proud owner of living within South Omaha. And then Raeven wrote, right. So like that in itself is almost an entitlement. Like you don't even feel what it's like to have to live in a city that is so segregated. And to me, I was like, wow, this is so bold. And it wasn't attacking. Like it wasn't like finger pointing and trying to throw someone under the bus. It was just, I'm going to educate you on your privilege that you're even posting this on social media, that you're even saying it out loud. And after that, I just continued to follow her, and I gained so much respect and honor and admiration for her, because even the sticky conversations that no one wants to have, Raeven's willing to have. And it just makes her stand out to me. Now, the very first time we ever met in the flesh was at Lit Fest last year. And she sat right behind where I was speaking. And she was just everything that I needed. I shouldn't even say wanted. I needed her to be. Her energy was the same. Her personality was the same. Who she is on the court is exactly the same player that she is off the court. And I remember, I just got goosebumps. We didn't even really exchange much. She helped button my dress that was coming undone. And I looked at her and I said, you are exactly who I thought and needed you to be. And she goes, same girl. And it was just like, ever since then, I know that Raeven is Raeven. I know that I can lean on her on the good times. I know I can lean on her in the bad times. I know either way, they are like the good times that we celebrate are not going to be shared with others. I know that the sticky, trappy things that we've been through together are not going to be shared with others. It's just a very safe space that Raeven has created for me. It was very, very necessary and needed for me last year with all the things that was going on in my life. And I was just blown away that there is such an authentic, what you see is what you get person in Raven. And so when this opportunity came out to have her be on the podcast, I was like, man, I'm so ready to showcase this beautiful soul. Yes, she's beautiful on the outside, but y'all, she is so much more beautiful on the inside.
Well, we all need Raven in our lives, and that is why I'm really excited to get her to share her story. Like, did you come out of the womb being that way, Raven? Or let's go back as far as you wish to give people some of the background of how you grew into the person that you are and what you are currently doing.
Oh, so first I had to get my Kleenex because Sasha, that was so beautiful. I'm gonna blame it on the filming lights. They're in my eyes. Blame it on the lights. Honestly, Michelle, no, I did not come out of the womb that way. I I am 31, and for my entire life, I have been told you're too much. You do too much. You're too loud. You're too boisterous. All the hey girl, hey boo, tone it down. You need to be more professional. I have always been taught to be very A, B, C, D in my life. And now I get to be H, K, I, L. I get to be whoever, however I want. And someone who really taught me how to do that is Sasha. Sasha, I'm an only child. I do not have siblings. Sasha is my sister. Sasha and I kikied a little too hard a few weekends ago, and it's been a long time since I slept at a friend's house. I up all night talking, like hanging out, like high school. It has been a long time since I have felt safe enough in someone's presence and felt welcomed enough. Not felt like, oh, I'm overstaying my welcome or it's getting a little tension in here. It's been a really long time. So as I grow and evolve, mainly in my business, I learned that it does pay well to just be yourself. And when they say be yourself, I mean be yourself. I was being myself for this person, I'm going to be myself for that person. No, I've learned to just be authentic and you can take it or leave it.
Another question. So I'm guessing the message of tone it down and all those things that you shared coming from parents, friends, aunts and uncles, teachers. I mean, was
Oh,
that
everyone.
yeah. And so how did that impact you? What did you start doing differently? And how did that maybe influence some of the choices you were or weren't making?
So, when I say everyone, I should narrow it down to yes, my family, yes, some teachers, but a lot of it came from when I moved to LA. There is a certain level of professionalism that is to be expected. A lot of times you are signing NDAs for things to not get leaked or disclosed, especially if I'm working on sets of reality shows or stars or influencers. A lot of things are discreet, but I did learn that lane really wasn't even for me, but mostly my managers would always say to just tone yourself down. And I'm in an industry that is all about being creative. It's about expressing yourself, being authentic. So why am I being taught to tone it down? But when you hear it so often, I'm like, well, maybe I am the problem. It's me. I'm the problem. So I would box myself in, and because I'm an only child, I'm used to doing that anyway, kind of keep it to myself. I box myself in and make myself really small just to get through the day, just to avoid a write up. And what pushed me to do more is not only Sasha, but I'm gonna still give you all the credit, sis. But also my graphic designer, when she did my branding, she's like, this is one of the most unique, quirky, out there brands. Why are you so like in your own little realm? Why are you so in your box and why are you not sharing this? So I created Lash Karma to provide a sanctuary, a safe space to bring more spirituality because that's been a big part of my life as well. But also, I grew up in religious households, so some things were off limits at the time. So again, goes back to childhood. But after also being told something that is extremely drastic of, oh, it is okay to open up more. It is okay to share my spiritual gifts with others. Are you sure that it's safe? Are you sure? I started to plant little seeds, little things like going live and sharing my story, reading tarot, teaching people about crystals, teaching people how to read oracle cards. Just those little tiny tidbits to say, what's my audience going to say? There have been times where I will have a tarot deck laid out and I'll be like, I'll forget and I'll go, oh, I should probably hide that so I don't offend someone. And then they come in, they're like, girl, what's the deck's at? So that's what I mean by just being myself. And I encourage all of you to be yourself. It draws the right people in. Even if it takes time, you got to kind of weed some people out. It will always come back.
And I'm sure I know Sasha can relate. I can relate, right? We've all had people in our lives who are uncomfortable when we are being who we are. And so generally, when someone's telling you to tone it down, it's usually a reflection of their own discomfort. And
Oh,
yet,
yes.
because we are growing and developing and we don't want judgment and we don't know what to do, we start to believe and then we mold ourselves. And eventually that leads us to not trusting ourselves, not lead us to trusting others, or maybe we put too much trust in someone or something because we have all this doubt and uncertainty about ourselves. And so now we just continue to believe what someone else is telling us. Did any
Hmm.
of that kind of, envelop or develop throughout your years, whether it was in LA or since you've been back?
Absolutely, especially in LA, where LA is big, but as far as beauty, that industry is so small. And it's just like Omaha, where everyone knows everyone. And there is that certain level of expectation that others may have of you. But one thing I really learned, I learned this mainly when my dad passed away last year. Whether you are cremated or you are going 6 feet under in a casket, it's just going to be you. And you have to live with your decisions, the choices that you make. This is your life, and you get to do things the way that you want to do, and you get to unlearn, relearn, and do it all over again and again and again and again. How do we know if this is the right or wrong way when this is the only lifetime that we've lived? How do we know? We're constantly learning and relearning. And I think a lot of us are very critical and hard on ourselves because of other people's projections and living our lives and doing things on other people's terms and timelines. That is so unfair to ourselves. And I've had to learn that constantly. Show up for myself and be authentic, and like will always attract like. But when you are a light, naturally, you're going to attract a little bit of everything. That is where your gift of discernment takes place. That is when your self awareness and your trust takes place. I will say that I'm fortunate enough now to have a really great therapist and a really amazing, amazing circle of friends where yes, we hold each other accountable, but we are not criticizing one another. We are allowing one another to live freely. So when they say your network is your net worth, I do believe in that, but ultimately it can oftentimes just be you at the end of the day, and you got to learn how to sit with that. That was my biggest learning opportunity, is to learn how to sit with it. Even in my trials, the worst possible thing that could have happened to me in LA, I'm here now and I have to sit with this. And I have to be cognizant of my decisions that I made and how it got me to where I am currently. Am I going to beat myself up for this on a daily basis and miss out on the rest of life? Or am I going to say, a lesson learned is a lesson learned. And now that I know better, I get to do better and be better.
And that is why you're on the Be a Better Being podcast.
I know. That's exactly. I was like, all right, everyone, thank you for coming to the TED. I'm sorry, the Raven talk, rap. That was incredible.
So, how have people responded to you since you really embraced your authentic you and are showing up for you as you? How, the family members, the people that were pretty, would you consider your circle? How have they responded? Any, anybody fall by the wayside? Have obviously new ones have come in, but share a little bit about that because I think that is one of the reasons we continue to mask, right? Because we're afraid of losing these people in our lives that are probably somewhat important to us if we don't behave the way they think we should behave.
Woo. Oh, okay. So I yes, I have gained and I have lost. The losses, they don't hurt as much because they're dropping off like flies at this point. And yes, it's oftentimes it's some family, but a lot of times it's been people who I thought you were my rock. You know, we've been through so many things together. You see me in several different circumstances. And one thing I'm not gonna tolerate is anyone's shenanigans and straight up disrespect. And it's like, okay, if I'm growing and I'm evolving and you don't respect that, that's okay. How many more people is it on the face of this earth? I have, well, maybe not never, but it's been a long time since I traveled out of the country. And that's my perspective is, okay, girl, we are a few zip codes apart. It's okay. There's other people in this earth. And ultimately, I like me and I love me and I respect me and I appreciate me. So that's my basis for everything. As honestly as I'm cool with Raven, the rest of it is it's a perk. It's a benefit. And because I am so outspoken, I have become around more outspoken women who remind me that it's okay to stand up for yourself. It's okay to share your story. It's okay to be yourself. But being around too many people who also box themselves in, they'll encourage you to do the same. And knowing that I have outgrown those people and being okay with it, it's okay if they talk about me, if they throw me under the bus. It's okay because one day I'm going to be driving the bus and the bus is going to have my face on the side. So it doesn't matter. It's going to
Oh,
have
well,
gold plated tires and rims on it and everything with the Lash Karma logo in the back.
I want to be on that bus. I
I
want
am.
to
Oh,
be, I
honey.
want to be on the bus.
I'm on the bus.
Yes.
Sir, where we going? Where we going? Pull
I
up.
love it. Sasha, did
Yes.
you have something?
Yeah, you just talking about you loving you. This last year was crazy hard for me climbing out of that hole for myself right now. I'm in such a beautiful spot. I'm so thankful for the opportunity to go through all the suffering that I did because I learned so many lessons from it. Invaluable, I mean, just crazy, crazy lessons. But one of the things that I came out of it was this, I like to call it the martini glass theory. I never shared it. I don't know if I've shared it with you, Michelle, or not. I've shared it with my sister, and my sister was like, wow, that is so good. And it goes to this idea of you and yourself, you are a martini glass. You have all the makings to be the best martini you have ever tried. You are all of it. You don't need anything else to be a complete and amazing and top shelf martini. But for those people who are great additions to your life, just like when I say I'm just like the lemon wedge on the co-host, it's the same thing. I am the top shelf. I am everything all encompassing this chilled martini glass with my top of the line liquor, which is funny that I come up with this since I'm 9 years sober now. But everyone who is there for me, who has watched me go through the hard and the good, they're incredible additions to my martini. So yeah, I can have a dirty martini and I don't need the dirty olives in there to be complete as the martini itself, but I'm going to be okay with razzle dazzling my life and my inner circle and my friends as my lemon wedges, as the strawberries or the slice of cucumber or whatever it is that I'm adding to my me. I don't need someone else to complete me. I am the whole martini, the whole perfectly shaken, top of the line martini that costs way too much money. But it's always nice to have that little lemon wedge, that addition. You don't complete me, I complete myself. I love myself fully and wholly, but you are an addition to my life. You add value to my life. Sasha is herself. Raven is herself. Raven loves herself. Sasha loves herself, and not in a cocky way, more in just the confident way, the self love way, and the way that it is self healing and self nurturing. But I love lemon wedges. I love my martinis with olives if I can. So, having all that you are, encompass all that you are, as strong and as concentrated of a martini as you deem fit, be as whole as possible, and allow yourself to find those additions that suit you, those lemon wedges, wherever you can find them in your life.
Say that. Can I add something to that? I love that. I love that theory. Just really quick, I had a friend come over the other day, and typical guy drama, right? And I said, you know what? What if you never find a partner? What if you never find someone who completes you, as they say? She goes, well, I wouldn't be okay with that. I said, but if the highest and purest form of love is self love, then why are we constantly seeking it from other people who continue to show you that they're not capable of providing that to you? And how, if it's not internal, how are you going to even find it outside? Because if you're also so broken, then when someone does come to love on you, oftentimes you'll mess it up. You got all this drama and baggage, and I think we all do naturally, but how we process it too is equally as important. And choosing ourselves is equally as important. Had I not chosen myself and quite literally risked my life for freedom, I can't tell you where I'd be. I don't know if I'd still be in LA. I don't know if I'd still be in a bad relationship that I ended up out there. I go out there to get focused on my career and I end up in a whole like situation. So I don't know what would have happened if I didn't choose myself. But if I can choose myself through the hardest time of my life, why do I care what Sally Sue has to say about me at this point?
Absolutely. Self
Drops
love
mic.
is the highest form of self care, right? If you don't love yourself, you will not take care of yourself. It's that simple. And to your
Yes.
point, Raven, we will find things to fill the gaps, right? We'll find the
Yes.
putty to put in the crack of the foundation, or we'll find the band-aid to put on it. We'll find the good distraction. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, I am well enough into my life, had plenty of experiences, and this idea of finding somebody who completes me. I mean, believe me, as the single girl, and I've lived most of my life single. I've been in long relationships, I've been married, but the bulk of my life I've been single. And for so many years, well, Michelle, you need to find someone. You need to date. You need to this. And like, why do I need this? No, I don't. You know what that is? That is you showing
Hmm.
me that you are not okay being alone with you. Do I
Hmm.
love be going through life alone? I mean, kind of, honestly, if I'm being
Yeah.
100%
Yeah.
honest. Would I love if I found a partner who complimented me? 100%. Am I going to compromise the amazing life that I have, my values, to find someone because I need to be with someone? Absolutely not. And a lot of people say, "Oh, that's picky," or "Oh, you're good. You must be lonely." No, I'm not, because I have enough, because I am enough,
Hmm. Woo.
right? And but you know what? That didn't come overnight either. I didn't come out the womb that way either. So, self-love is something you literally choose to embrace and grow and develop, or you choose not to. And it probably is one of the hardest choices, right? Because for a lot of reasons, we're maybe sometimes taught that that is selfish, or to Sasha's earlier,
Hmm.
point, it's cocky. It is not cocky. It's called respect. Why can I not love
Yes.
and respect myself as much as I would want to love and respect anyone else?
Hmm.
So, at what point,
Yeah.
Raven, did you decide I am enough to choose me? And like, just kind of what that felt like and looked like.
I think so. When I started Lash Karma, just in the spring of last year, 2022, I think knowing myself to my core, knowing that I'm very fiscally irresponsible, knowing that I'm not a thorough planner. I think until I overthink and get that analysis paralysis. I think actually written down going through the trenches with my business, lots of trial and error and learning and seeing how quickly things develop for me was my oh my goodness. I could create an empire out of this if I wanted to take it there. I have something that no one can take away from me. No one's doing what I'm doing, and even if they are, they think they can, they're not going to do it like me. And I've never built something like that. I have been in every corporate salon. I have worked for every makeup brand that you can think of. And it was always like, okay, I like the art and I like the industry, but what I'm not feeling this environment. And anytime I tried to freelance or go off on my own, I was so happy. But I come from a family and a prior network of, oh, don't you want a job? Why is this what I'm doing not enough? And so once I stopped listening and started paying attention to the numbers and seeing results, that that is what pushed me and what fueled me to kind of check myself like, you're doing fine, Raven. Paying my bills ahead of time, paying my rent, paying for my salon suite, not begging my mama, girl, can I borrow $100? Can I get now I can give you money? From Little Miss, I can't keep $10 to my name. That was my like, oh girl, you a little smarter than what you give yourself credit for. But also remembering to apply myself. I stay so up in my head that I will not take action out of fear of myself, not trusting myself, fear of how someone else will take my steps. But what's there to be fearful of if I don't do it? And what's on the other side of that fear if I just do it?
Well, fear is the normal thing that holds most people back, right? Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of success. I mean, we have all kinds of fears that keep us rooted. What I love about what you do, I mean everything, but that it is about the external beauty because let's face it people, it matters. If you do not like what you see in the mirror, it is going to impact every side of you. It just
True.
is. And there are people who can help us like what we see in the mirror a little more if we would like to do that. But you also help people tap into their inner beauty. So, can you talk about that side of this a little more?
Yes. So you know how they say your beauty appointment is like, oh, I'm going to see my therapist. Where the services are very therapeutic, where I do my best to provide a safe space for all to come to. And I want you to be able to let things off of your chest, to be able to vent and know that this is not going to go anywhere outside of these four walls. And yes, the lash extensions, the makeup, the hair is so fun. But I also understand that when we're touching certain areas, that is also your chakra. That is also where you restore different sources of energy. And that's also why when our elders used to say, don't let everyone play in your hair, don't let everyone touch your hair, I understand that on a deeper level now. I understand how much energy is transmuted through a beauty service and how healing it can be. Yes, you're going to look good always, but I've often been told, even if you weren't good at what you do, I would come here because you make me feel good as a person. It is so important to love who you are internally, which is something that I battled with. I thought that self love and self care and feeling confident was about me having lashes, was about me having 30-inch bundles, wigs on, long, extra long nails. I thought that's what it meant. And we still like that. That's the bells and whistles. But what is if the house is raggedy, why you want to freshen it up and paint the outside if the interior is crumbling? If your foundation is not solid, why does all the extra accessories, why does it even matter? And that is something that I really try to teach people. When I say self love and self care, I don't mean just the bubble bath. And that's what we're often taught. I don't mean just, I'm going to have a glass of wine or, go treat myself to a nice meal. That's cute too. But at the end of the day, when you've devoured that food, it's been digested, your money has been spent. What is going on inside? And then they're usually like, oh, you're right.
Yeah, I had when I was in Wisconsin, some of my girlfriends came over and one of my friends was like, because I'm the wellness girl, right? So oh, I did self-care. I got a manicure and pedicure. And I'm like, "Hmm, no, that's called pampering, which is awesome. We should do those
Yes.
things, right? Do nice things for ourselves. That's not self-care." And you're right, that is the message that we're taught. Self-care is treating yourself, like your inner self, with love, kindness,
Mhm.
respect. And that encompasses everything: what I put in it, what I don't put in it, how much I rest it, how much I move it, how much I actually am kind or not kind to it, right? All of those things.
Mhm.
And it is something that we all struggle with. That's why Sasha and I do this podcast, because it's really hard to get inside, right? Because you know what? That ratty interior, we all have it. We all have a ratty interior. So let's just go in and look at it and let's see what we want to start fixing up step by step. But you walk
Right.
into a dilapidated house, you're like, oh, too much, never mind. I'll go buy that one instead. Yeah, it doesn't work like that with
Mhm.
us, right? You have to do your own work. Sasha, I feel like you have something to chime in.
It reminds me of, I pitched, it was for the MBA capstone for UNO. They had if you're getting your master's degree in business, they invited you to come in and do a pitch. And then they assigned you a team to help you. They were basically like consultants. You were their final project. And so I pitched the Hope Blockers for Project Intentional, and I had a team of 3, and they were outstanding. Well, I was doing my pitch. I even, in hindsight, like, this was even so extra. It's not like I can do anything normal. It's just so incredibly extra, and I don't care. The elevator was broken. The thing was on the 3rd floor. I took in an entire Hope Locker, so I carried it up the stairs, and I went in there, and I like took in the Hope Locker, and I like gave them the razzle dazzle, and I did the whole like song and dance. And then, afterwards, everyone's like, "Is there are there any questions?" And there were none. And then, so my presentation was over, and they all clapped and thanked me for coming, and then they were going to send me the people. Well, the person that came up after me, the presenter after me, because there were, I don't know, maybe 60 students, so there were 20 different projects that needed to present that day. And the person that came up after me, she like put her hand on the podium. She goes, "Whoa, that was a lot of energy." Okay, so like right there, yeah, I get it. Yeah. But then I'm still in the room, and I can obviously hear you say that I'm a lot of energy. Like, and I turn around and I go, "Yeah, try living with me. I'm with me all the time. I don't escape this. It is a lot of energy, but it's me. This is my me." And so like it could have, maybe she didn't know how to digest me, which is fine. A lot of people don't know how to digest me. I'm not going to dilute myself just because you've never encountered so much energy.
Mhm.
But like, girl, I have to live with me every day like this. Like, I'm not going to tone it down. And that's what when Raven was saying what she was just saying, it just reminded me of the story where she was trying to like diss me or bring me down by saying I have so much energy. Like, yeah, I do. And I have to live with it. I'm learning to live with it. I'm learning to go into
Yes.
my little dilapidated energetic house and every day take up on my character defects and work
And
on myself.
you know what I would say, Sasha? If I was in her mind, I would probably say she wishes she had the energy you had,
Well,
right?
yeah,
Mhm.
I hear that a lot. I always hear people like after I'll get done with something, and normally by the end of, I don't care if it's a 3-minute pitch or if it's a 30-minute speech, I am pitted out because I give it my all. I don't
Yes.
half-ass anything. Like, I give it my all. And then, I'll always hear like, "Oh, I wish I had just a tenth of your energy." And I'm like, "Yeah, but even if you did, like, you wouldn't know what to do with it. Like, you are not
Yep.
me. I am my me. And you have, like, don't look at me and say, like, I wish I had this, this, and this. Like, or don't say, like, whoa, you have too much of this, this, and this." Then make that as your own self reflection and be thankful that you don't have this much energy, or that you don't have my problems, or that you don't have the things that I have to deal with on a day to day, because you wouldn't want to. Like, I am me, you are you. There's no matter, I say this in almost every single one of my speeches, no matter how many miles you run, or no matter how many bananas you eat, you can never be me. And nor should you want to be. Nor should you want to be.
Yes. Oh,
Well,
I love this.
right? I mean, that's yes. We're getting close to having to wrap up here. So, Raven, I would love for you to just share anything that you think would be helpful for our audience to know that we haven't already touched on.
I just things that I would love to share is when they say be you, please take that literally. Please be you. Please learn to trust yourself. Engage in your shadow work. Get really comfortable with being uncomfortable. Tap into the darkest parts of yourself. Heal those wounds. Do your journal prompts. Lay out, touch grass. Get off your phone. Unplug. Go scream in a field. Please take care of yourself. This is, I heard that reincarnation is a real thing, but maybe we'll talk about that another time. And let's say if this is the only time that we really get to be present on this earth, you have to be comfortable when you are done. You're clocked out. You're moving on to next lifetime or whatever happens. If you are not proud of your accomplishments and you're not proud of yourself, what was all of it for? I hate to hear those things about people. And having gone through physical therapy, I'm with the elderly folks. I love them, but I'm with the elders all the time who are, I wish I would have just started my business. I wish I would have traveled more. I wish I would have. Why are we wishing instead of doing? Or can we wish and do at the same time? Like when I say live authentically, I'm going to stand on that. I'm always going to stand on that. And remember that when we put our boundaries in place, they are for ourselves and not for other people. Work on yourself. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I mean, I love your TED Talk. And seriously, so many powerful words of wisdom from such a young person. You are, I mean, you have not really been on this planet that many years to have already embraced all of this and really be showing up. I mean, I personally can't wait to see what happens in the next 10 years. It's going to be amazing. And just, I'm super grateful to have you in my circle. I met you very briefly last year at Lit Fest as well. And obviously, came on the vision board workshop as well. And if anybody is literally ready to do the dirty, dark work, because it is, let's just, it is, okay? Every human on this planet has dirty, dark stuff. We all do. And if you think you don't, you're just not aware. You do.
Yes. Yes.
And it's
Yes.
okay. It doesn't have to be scary. And, somebody like Raven who has the gifts to guide you through it, I encourage you to reach out to her. I know you might not go to Omaha to get her full service, but I imagine, Raven, you do things virtually to help people
Oh,
tap
yes.
into that.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
And of course, we'll put all of your information in our show notes. Sasha, anything to wrap us up?
I have something to wrap us up with. Okay, so you're 31. The
Yes.
week that this comes out is or what broadcast? What is it? Tell me, help me, Michelle.
Episode? I don't know.
Yeah, the episode when we drop this episode, launch, whatever it's called, is also actually my
Published? Is that the word?
published. Also my birth week. And the one thing that I took from this last year, one of my favorite things that was brought to me by God was that I'm turning 36. Now in the past 36 years of my life, I have learned to walk, I've learned to talk, I've learned how to manipulate, I've learned how to lie, cheat, steal, but I've also learned how to love, how to heal, how to do all these things. And Raven and Michelle and myself, if we do this right, I have, and Raven, you have, and Michelle, I personally have 3 more lifetimes to go if I do this right. And if God so sees it fit. So, I'm taking this next 36 years and I'm going to build, establish, grow, love, pray, and all those things. And then, when I'm about to be 90, then I'll retire. But if we do it right, we have 3 more lifetimes to go. And I'm just so thankful that in this lifetime, I get to do it with the 2 of you.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
As me as well. I echo all of that. Raven, so beautiful to see you. I mean, you literally just glow. So if you're not watching this on YouTube, y'all need to, so you can see the radiation that's coming through. It is inner outer beauty. It's all of those things. Thank you.
It's also lights, but I love that.
Now stop it. See, that's what we
Shout out
do. We dismiss a nice compliment. That's the truth. I don't blow sunshine up people's butts. I really don't. So that is 100% authentic.
Thank
Um,
you. Thank
yes,
you.
of course.
Gratitude for both of
Yes.
you.
Yes. Well, this has been a delightful conversation. And I know people are probably super energized because of all the energy. So you're welcome, everybody, for giving you all of this
Hmm.
energy. Guests, I mean, now that you've listened to us go on and on, you know that it is your time to go and be a better being.
Thank you for listening to the Be a Better Being podcast. Michelle and Sasha hope that what you heard today inspires you to embrace this journey of life with an open mind, a kind heart, and a willingness to learn and evolve. If you enjoyed the content, please help spread their message by subscribing, sharing, and leaving a 5-star review. If you have a show topic idea or would like to be a guest, please visit betterbeings.net and fill out a contact form. Until next time, go and be a better being.